to the FSF PopCast live show.
We're back, baby.
Hello. Hopefully with
I'm
less
alive
glitching
this time.
We can hear.
I can't wait for like 10 seconds in where my video just boop, disappears.
So for those of you who are confused and thought, wow, I thought I already watched an FSF PopCast live show tonight. We're going to pretend like that is Ghostbusters 2. It didn't really happen.
Ghostbusters 2 or the Star Wars Holiday Special?
Okay, definitely the Star Wars Holiday Special. And that there's like 2 Ewok movies. We're going to pretend those didn't happen.
Hey. Those were good.
Are you going to be less embarrassing this time? Probably not. We tried very hard to stick to the landing on embarrassing.
I don't know how embarrassing
Nice,
I'm going to
John.
be because I was frozen in like a position before.
No, that was apparently, according to Kathleen, not only did you do it, and then I mocked you for it, and then I froze in that position.
It was great.
So I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that video because apparently both you and I are on the screen, and like you're going one way, I'm going the other way. We're both like, ah! So anyway,
we need to make an FSF bloopers reel.
Oh,
where we just comb through our interviews and it's just all of our bloopers. But that would also probably be all of our interviews, just full length.
I like how you say comb through, like you wouldn't have to just open one and be like, ta-da, there they are.
John, you have a job now.
And wave, boys.
You have another job now.
I mean, if you're normal embarrassing, that's fine. But the technical issues were just, it was new software. We were trying something out because, it's just there were reasons.
We're going to keep using
new side. Yeah.
If we're going to keep using the other software, let me run through it first because I have a feeling you didn't click some settings that are vital to its function.
It's entirely possible.
That's why I'm offering.
So anyway,
it was like,
The other
I'm
software
going
has some developing to do.
Yes, it does. I think it does. Honestly, it's a nice idea, but yeah, I am not a boomer with technology. Thank you very much. Shush, Ben.
Anyway.
But I'm going to go through this one more time just because like I said, on our other video, this kind of cut out early. But before, again, I want to take a moment to thank our show partners, Storyline Editors, TCT, where fandom meets fashion, and Level Up Lightsabers. They are the guys that help make this show stay on the air, and they help us out with that. And then also, as a reminder, we read this already, but I'm going to read it one more time. We have this new movie just came out. It's called Casino in Ischia. Is new on digital today. In the brand new action comedy starring Dominic Purcell, a fading action star heads to Italy to revive his career with a bold new movie. But when the production spirals out of control, his comeback turns into hilarious misadventure. Buy Casino in Ischia on digital now. Not rated from Republic Pictures. And again, if you haven't already, click the link down below that says win free loot, and you'll be signed up to win a digital code. So, hey, Brandon, thank you for logging in. And as Kathleen said, she can't be on video tonight. She's had a small outpatient procedure today, so she's harassing from the keyboards, but she's also being helpful and reminding me to say, and viewers like you. So thank you.
She's being helpful.
And then, she's being helpful. And then Crusher, hey, Jesse, running to say hi. I'm out to dinner at the moment. Perfect. Awesome. We are nowhere near the hurricane. John and I are in Michigan, and Ben is up in Alaska, so we are very safe.
We live
we are quite a ways away from it.
Yeah, that's going to be quite the doozy for those who are not a ways away from it, and we wish everyone well and hope that they will be safe. Yes, like Kathleen says, we live where the air hurts our face.
So I have family down in that area that were just like, hey, you gonna leave? And they decided not to, and we're like, that's a pretty dumb move, but we literally cannot force you.
I've got an uncle in Florida who insists that he can ride anything out. And We'll see.
Yeah, I've got some friends down in the Tampa area. They are not in the mandatory have to leave area, and that, but they are in areas where they're going to get some rain, some possible light flooding, hoping that they're going to be okay, and maybe just loss of power for a few days. So I'm hoping that that's all it is. Brandon asked, how's the fandom going? Well, it's funny you should ask, Brandon, because that is the topic of our live show tonight. We are talking about ways that we can become a positive force in the fandom. So thanks for the setup there, Brandon.
Yeah.
It's almost like they read the title.
Yeah. So in the other video, the one with the technical difficulties, I mentioned this that I saw on TikTok today.
Yeah, bring that up again because I'm still.
Ewan McGregor was at the Los Angeles Comic-Con a week ago, and he's on stage, and so he's being interviewed and was asked, well, what else would you like to do in Star Wars? And he's like, well, there's some possibilities for an Obi-Wan season 2. There's some cool stories that could be told. And somebody in the audience booed him. Like,
what?
Yeah.
First off, anything Ewan McGregor, hands down, I'll watch it. It could just be him eating a bowl of cereal, staring at the screen. Like, he'll be staring into camera, just.
Yeah. And so he
I'll watch that for 4 hours straight.
Yeah. So he called out the person in the audience with, why are you booing? And then goes on with, it'd be really cool to wear some of that clone trooper armor. And, I might have to do some de-aging, but it's worth it to work with Hayden again. But like, somebody paid to be there, was voluntarily in the room, and booed this man on stage.
Yeah,
I went to a thing with Ewan McGregor about Star Wars and booed more Star Wars.
Right. And so, like, why are people like this? I also made the mistake of going into a Warhammer subreddit over the weekend. I was with my in-laws.
Terrible plan.
Yeah. And they're ranting about these tourist fans are only here because of this video game. And like, who cares how you got here? You might start with a video game and go from there.
So that's one of the problems that I have with the Fandom Menace right now is that we have people who are coming into the fandom, and I don't care how people got here. I want them to enjoy the space that they're in, whether that's Star Wars, Star Trek, Warhammer 4000, D&D, whatever it is. It's Warhammer 4000, right?
40,000 or 40K.
Yeah. That tells you how much I know about that space. I should have stopped at Warhammer, but the point still stands is that the people coming into those spaces should be welcomed. You should be thrilled that people are finding out about the thing that you love and that you're enjoying.
Yeah.
And so I have a problem with that because, right now we have, anytime there's something new released for Star Wars, I try not to read comments for a few days until, I've seen the things on my own. Like Acolyte was a hot mess. Not the show. Loved the show. I really enjoyed Acolyte the show. I had a problem with Acolyte the fans.
The fact that after one season they just why was it canceled? They didn't even give it. The first season of any show is always going to be meh.
Clone Wars.
It can have its ups and downs, but it's still getting its footing.
Right.
Let it establish itself, and then season 2 is where it just. That's where you can let it fail or succeed.
Yeah. Right, and I always tell people,
give it a chance.
If they're coming into Star Wars through Clone Wars or even Star Wars Rebels, if they're coming in from the animated side of things, you have to get through season 1 of those shows to where those shows really get their footing and they start moving forward and they start gaining speed and momentum and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of ways that we as fans can help others kind of navigate through these things. And for me, and we can all talk about different ways that maybe we feel about this or different things that we've seen that we would like to try and, or hopefully would see in this area. But one of the biggest things for me is the statement that I was told a long time ago: don't feed the trolls. That's number one. anytime I go into a Reddit page or I go into, you know, if I decide to allow myself to stroll through a Twitter/X thread for whatever reason, if I do go to those areas, I have to remind myself that there are people out there who are just, they're slamming things, they're crap posting just to crap on it, you know.
Star Wars
And-
3.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to bring him up without a cough here in just a second. I have no problem mentioning the guy. I've mentioned him a couple different times on our show in for all the negative reasons that he deserves to be mentioned negatively. Star Wars Theory is a guy who used to be, and for all transparency, I used to sub to Star Wars Theory
Same.
years back in the day
Mhm.
when there was positivity to his posting, when there was, you know, because if you really want to know how he used to feel about the sequel theory or the sequel trilogy before he decided to crap on it because he found out he could make more money by crapping on Star Wars than supporting Star Wars. Yeah, he gave the sequel trilogy an 8 out of 10. Now he craps on it.
Not only that, but after the realization of Rey, Palpatine, and then taking on Skywalker, he made a video. I can pull up the video. He made a video where he goes, Rey is a Skywalker.
Mhm.
Now
Yeah.
you look at his current stuff and he's freaking out the other direction.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and people's opinions can change. It's valid, you know.
I don't
Which is
have a
allowed,
problem
yeah.
with people. I don't have a problem with people's opinions changing. I think many times when people's opinion changes, it's a matter of perspective. Now, like
Yeah.
with me, so and I'll use one of my own stories inside of the Star Wars fandom. Everybody knows I'm a Star Wars fan. Everybody knows I love Han Solo. Everybody knows. Yeah, I know, it's shocker. But I hated the Solo movie. And I just didn't like. Well, it had nothing to do with Alden Ehrenreich. He just shouldn't have been Han Solo. Anyway, but I don't mind it now. But I had to look at it differently because I went into it with the wrong perspective. So yeah, my opinion did change. There are things about the movie I still don't care about, but I don't dislike the movie anymore. You know, and I think that's a lot of it. No, you're fine. I think that's a lot of it, though, for a lot of people is that, you know, when their opinions changes because they've been helped to have their perspective change on different things. I had to have my perspective changed on The Last Jedi as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hated The Last Jedi.
See, that was my favorite of those three.
Yeah. I was mad that it wasn't Harrison Hottie Pants, okay?
I was also very displeased with The Last Jedi, but upon reflection, like, you can see what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And like what Rian Johnson was intending to do, and he succeeded in what he was attempting to do. It's just it was the sudden like crack in the narrative going from Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, and then suddenly swapping back to the older plot lines in Rise of Skywalker.
Mhm.
That's my current thing with the sequel trilogy. Is just the inconsistency. But you could say the same thing for the prequels. You could say the same thing for the originals.
Oh yeah, definitely the
I mean,
original.
going from Star Wars to Empire to then Return, the fact that there are people out there that say there are only 2 Star Wars movies, 2 out of 9.
Yeah.
That's
Problematic,
Right.
to say the least. Yeah, the thing is that there's, one of the things that we preach on this show is that we want everybody to love what they love. We want people to, if you dislike something, that's fine, dislike it. The problem that we have, and the reason why we're having this conversation tonight, is that it's important to let people like what they like and dislike what they dislike, but don't go crapping on people's dislikes just because it's different than yours. And I think that that's part of where this fandom conversation is coming in, and the issues that we're having, because we have so many people who are willing to be the keyboard warrior or go out. They go to the Comic-Cons and instead of celebrating people's cosplays, because I don't care if you spent 5 minutes on your cosplay or 5 years perfecting it. I'm going to celebrate your cosplay because you put some effort forth, even if it's just I've seen cosplays where as simple as somebody took a white T-shirt and wrote "I am this person." I don't care. I'm still going to celebrate that. It's still fun because you at least put some effort in. I just put a T-shirt on.
I saw one person who ended up like finding their way into cosplaying Wolverine. They put on white tank top, ripped it a little bit, and then just took hair gel and went. That was it. That was their Wolverine. I'm like, yep, that's cosplay. That counts.
Yeah, cosplay. That totally counts.
I think I've mentioned this story like 10 or 15 times on the podcast already.
Yes, Kathleen,
but
even if it's Britney Spears.
Yes, that still counts.
I know exactly what she's talking about, and I still have nightmares. It's okay.
But one of my first cosplay experiences that really brought me into the cosplay community, Captain America, I don't even think it was out yet. Or either it was coming out or just came out. I don't remember, but I went to New York Comic Con, and I was in a Captain America hoodie I got from Hot Topic, blue jeans, and duct tape boots that went all the way up to my knees. Just like red duct tape all the way up. I looked like garbage. And I met someone who was in a handmade denim World War II Captain America suit. They had a full aluminum shield. Mine was a flimsy plastic, like got it at Party City kind of shield.
Right, yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, I'm dressed like trash. I'm terrible. Yours is awesome. And this guy just looked at me and went, are you dressed up? Are you here at the convention in costume? He's like, that's it. That's cosplay.
Perfect. Right there.
And to go off, John, you mentioned that people were saying like, tourists to the fandom. Everyone starts out like that. Everyone. I know, right?
Yeah.
Unless you are like Bane, born and molded by the darkness, there's no way you can just enter and be fully fledged in the fandom. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I'm currently wearing a green and blue lantern ring because I learned how to read through comic books. Even as a child, there were so many things about Green Lantern, so many things about Spider-Man, Cap, Avengers, Justice League, doesn't matter what. If you saw, if someone got into it in the same way, I immediately lost my point I was going through. If someone got into those comics now, in the same way that people are going after everyone else for being a tourist, the response is not, get out, you're terrible. It should be, have you read this? Have you watched this? Did you like this version or that version?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Things like that. It should never be a, how dare you come in here?
Right. Well, people forget that you have to start off somewhere. You're not going to, you don't just like watch a movie or watch or read a comic book and then like, I know everything about this fandom, Right. You have to have some place to start. And I would rather have somebody be like, hey, I've only watched one of these. I think this is pretty cool. Awesome. Tell me what you love.
Yeah. It's
what attracted you to this? What makes you want to see more of it?
Right. It's like there's this thing with people who are music fans. They'll see, a girl wearing a shirt of a band they like. Oh yeah, can you even name 3 songs? Dude, who cares?
I want to fight those people.
I know, right? If you have a conversation, be like, hey, what's your favorite album? They don't know. Have a suggestion. Be like, hey, I really like this one. You might like these songs.
Yep.
Rather than well, you can't wear that shirt if you don't like the band. Like, what is wrong with you?
Here's a perfect story about that. So, as many of you know, I have a daughter who's 17, and I am a child of the 90s. I listen to grunge music to this day. Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Nirvana. Those were the bands that I grew up with. Those are the bands that I still listen to for the most part. My daughter was wearing an Alice in Chains t-shirt.
Oh boy.
Somebody asked my daughter, if she even knew any of their music, or if they just found it or just that you just find that at a thrift shop. And my daughter proceeded to give them an education on Lane Staley, Jerry Cantrell, Mike Diaz, Mike Inez rather, excuse me, and everything. It just be like, this is, Sean Kenny, and this is the band, and this is why I like them, and I was like, yeah. But she's had a couple different shirts where she's had that, and people have come up to her and asked her, well, do you even know anything about that band? Because they, for two reasons. Number one, they see a young person with a shirt and they automatically assume that they don't know anything about them. And number two, and this is the worst part, and because I do think that this is probably more of the reason, they saw a girl wearing that shirt. And,
misogyny plays a heavy role in the like exclusionary gatekeeping section of most fandoms.
And like Kathleen said, it's really fun when they asked that question about my Pink Floyd hat.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've seen people just be like, oh, you can't like this because you're a girl. You can't do this because of that. And I always point out, like, especially with the Star Wars community, I do not understand why they say that. Because you have pretty much everyone in the main cast of the originals just being like, oh yeah, Han, Luke, Chewie, 3PO, R2, all of them would have been dead if Leia didn't take control of the rescue operation.
Right. Yeah. If Leia hadn't been Leia, they would all been screwed.
But then there was a cosplayer in like the 80s that she painstakingly created an X-Wing flight suit. There was no reference pictures. There was no like Google that you could just pull up images and do that. She went to keep watching the movies over and over again and again with a like D-battery flashlight and pen and paper, making notes, making adjustments. You can't say these people didn't exist until X amount of time. They've been there forever. You just haven't acknowledged them.
Right.
And that's a problem.
You haven't cared to acknowledge them. Yeah, that's the bigger issue. Is that I think a lot of times when we're talking about problems inside of a fandom is because and people don't want to admit this, and and I suspect if certain people get a hold of this and watch this, that there will be issues with what I'm about to say, is that the majority of the issues that we see in fandoms now are based on misogyny and racism.
Yep.
And so black people aren't allowed to be fans of Star Wars because I've heard that, I've read that, unfortunately. Why do you
hate John Boyega got?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And now the cast members now of the Acolyte. Well, and God forbid, and right now the Acolyte's back in the news again because one of the Mother Anastasia from the show called out Disney for not supporting its actors. And she's 100% right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And everybody's like, well, and so they're going after, and I think mainly because they didn't like the show because it was run by a woman. The lead was a woman. The person who's the Acolyte, the main person of the story, was a woman, and it was a person of color. So you combine all those things, and it's just like this perfect storm of hate that went against the Acolyte before an episode even aired. There was all these issues and people calling out the show, and they hadn't even seen anything about the show, and they were calling it out. And so that just kind of continues and keeps going on now. Yeah. So,
yeah, and I keep seeing comments online with people, hey, I just found the show. Why did this get so much hate? Why was this canceled? There needs to be more of this because it's not perfect. I can find all the problems with it, but it was fun.
That's the thing about especially Star Wars. It just needs to be fun.
Like Solo.
It doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be like an absolute masterpiece. You can look at the original trilogy. They're not masterpieces by any degree, but they're fun and they're entertaining. I mean, look at how many mess ups they have in just the first one.
The thing is that what people don't realize, and I know that we're talking a lot about Star Wars tonight because when we talk about negativity in fandoms, a lot right now seems to be very Star Wars centric, because the fandom menace is a hot mess right now. These are things that the Star Trek community, looking from the outside looking in, went through at the beginning of the Discovery era when that show was released. Star Trek Discovery got a lot of racism and misogyny, and it was too woke. Which that alone, when you're referencing Star Trek, when you reference woke and Star Trek in the same sentence, to me, tells me that you have never. And I'm brand new to the fandom. Okay,
not even that.
It tells me that you did not understand Roddenberry's vision for Star Trek. Ever.
The one that gets me is when people say it's gone woke now. It's like, did you not watch anything else? Did you not watch the first Star Trek?
If you did,
the fact that there is a named officer who was a black woman on the bridge, and she wasn't just like insert red shirt number 5. No, it was an actual important person.
There was so
and
much.
It was also the first. I think it was also the first on-screen interracial kiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and say it's gone woke. It's been that way.
It done been woke since it woked up. Yeah. But yeah, so that's one of the things I'm talking about. Those that we have the people's going, oh well, Star Trek Discovery went woke. No,
look at Voyager, my favorite.
1967. That's when Star Trek started going woke.
But my favorite Star Trek is Voyager. The fact that there is a Native American commander on the bridge was unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
It never got, like, the fact that it was just like, yep, he's there. And there was no, how do I want to, I mean, there was probably some pushback, but I never noticed it.
It was before YouTube, so I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, but did people have an issue with Janeway?
Oh, yes.
I'm pretty sure they did, because the fact that, like, Janeway walked on the bridge and was just like, I'm the captain, and I will destroy you. Because she wasn't just a captain, she was the captain. Janeway would just...
Yeah.
Oh, hi. I don't know who you are, but hello.
That's Jesse from Crusher Convo, and yes, you should totally be on her show.
I'd be okay with going on another podcast for a bit.
Yeah. So many were pissed that there was a woman. Yeah. And that's kind of what I thought.
She was the most badass person in all of Star Trek. The fact that she would conquer planets if she wanted coffee off of them. Literally drove into a major celestial storm that could have destroyed Voyager and just went, there's coffee in there.
And see, as little as I know about her, that's one of the things I appreciate about her. I'm like, she was like, time to have the coffees. And I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in canon, they made her an admiral so she would stop intimidating people on Voyager. Because if you become an admiral, you're basically slapped into a desk.
Yeah.
So they went, to protect the world and the universe at large, we're putting Janeway away for a minute.
I love that in Prodigy. She's there as a hologram, an interactive hologram, and just and she's got a lot of snappy retorts to things, and she doesn't drink coffee anymore, and there's explanations for all of that, but I just
the sassiest captain. I love it.
She became admiral before Picard. She was his boss.
See, the one that commanding officer I liked was Cisco. Okay.
Oh yeah,
because he had his baggage and he was dealing with it. He still did his job. You know, he basically told Picard, "Go. I don't want to see your face again. You killed my wife." And Q showed up. He punched him.
Yeah,
I did see that. Yeah,
yes.
Deserved. Very deserved.
Right. But he couldn't just fly away from his problems every week. I respected that. You know?
Yeah, because he was on DS9, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cisco was one of the best captains in all of Star Trek, because not only did he have he was stuck where he was. He couldn't just abandon the problems like the rest of them.
Right.
But he was not only an incredibly good captain, he was fair when he needed to be. He was like tough when he needed to be, and he was genuinely a good dad.
Yeah.
Like there were so many scenes where his son was like, I don't like this, I don't like that, and then he would sit down and talk to him.
Yeah.
Instead of just be like, too bad, kid, you're stuck here.
My dad didn't do that.
Same.
Yeah.
Can we make this we talk about our dads for a bit? No.
I think we just started. We're going to just start rocking back and forth in our chairs, and
I left the beverage. I need to do that in the other room.
And then when I was 12, I didn't get the right bike. All right. So
anyway.
So but yeah. So I mean, we look at this topic, and I've had conversations with other Star Trek people and read comments from other Star Trek people who talk about the coming out of all that era to go into Enterprise, and then coming from Enterprise into Discovery, and the issues that the Star Trek fandom had from that point moving forward. And they're like, yeah, we've gone through these things, and we wish you Star Wars people well, because this is what you guys are dealing with right now. And but the problem is, it's not just in Star Wars. I see these every time there's a Marvel movie. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Sam Wilson taking over the status of Cap. Like Anthony Mackie's been getting the amount of not my captain. It's like, that's whether you choose him or not, he's Captain America. He's not Falcon Cap. He's not whatever you want to call him. He's Sam Wilson, Captain America.
Yeah.
He's and actually, I really like his version of Cap.
Because it's really good. Because he's a regular guy.
And and I read somewhere it was like, well, he doesn't deserve to be Cap. He gave up the shield, and I'm like, yeah. And if you go back and watch that again, you'll understand why he gave it up. He had too much respect for both the shield and the person that preceded him. It's just like, it makes sense. I think that people want, it is. We're not even going to talk about Captain Marvel and the Marvels movie and all the sexism and misogyny that came along with those and everything else. But people just won't allow themselves to sit down and enjoy something.
Right.
They want to start from a position of hate, and I have a very hard time with that. I mean, if you truthfully dislike something, that's fine. But I'm also of the mindset that you have to have a cognitive reason as to why you don't like it, other than it was stupid or just it was bad story writing. Okay, tell me why it was bad story writing.
That's the one I love, is when they just go, because it was bad. It's like, can you put any proper thought behind that? Can you explain in detail what you mean? Yeah. And the thing I love the most is like when people are saying like, oh, I don't like this, it's garbage, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, stop watching. That's it. You like, especially, I know we're flipping back and forth with Star Wars, but with the newer stuff with Star Wars, if you don't like it, all the old stuff is still there.
Yeah.
No one's taking it away from you.
Right.
Nope. You don't like the new? Don't watch it. Keep watching the same old stuff. It's fine.
Yeah. You've still got 35 years worth of content back there.
Exactly. But with everyone having like their whole gripe with like Sam Wilson Cap, that's the whole point of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was the entire point of the show, is him going, I have respect for this. I don't feel like I deserve it. Because who can live up to Steve Rogers? Nobody. It's impossible.
Right.
He had to, one, respect himself to a degree, but also learn that no one's going to be Steve Rogers. And he wasn't trying to be. And that's what I loved about the show. And the only gripe, the only thing I have a problem with the new Captain America movie coming out, they changed the costume. He had a perfect comic accurate suit in the show, and they changed it.
But
and I'm furious about it.
I'll have to look at it again.
I think he had it for half an episode with Falcon Winter Soldier. And now it's a new costume and it's bothering me.
But
the one that they gave him at the end of the series, they already changed that.
Yeah, he's not wearing it in the new movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or at least
that's
in all the
unfortunate.
promo, he's in a different suit. So
Isn't
I
it a
don't know if
different
that's
shield,
going to
too?
come in later, or if that's what he's just going to have and then swap to the red, white, and blue.
Right. And I'm going to put this comment on screen. Kathleen put this up there as a joke, I think. But this is also another person who's gotten a lot of flack. And this is another fandom that has been under attack over the last year or so. Not year or so, but last couple of years. And that's Doctor Who. And Ncuti Gatwa got a
Oh
lot
my
of
God.
crap.
Yeah.
Ncuti
Jodie
is
Foster.
fantastic.
Okay. Here's the thing. I have never been a big Doctor Who fan.
It's not for everybody.
But here's the thing. I liked a couple episodes with David Tennant because David Tennant. I liked a few episodes of Matt Smith, and then there was the grumpy old dude.
I really like the
the
grumpy old guy. I could relate to him.
I kind of identified with him a little bit. Not gonna lie.
I have some things about him that have recently come out that I'm like, maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, the character at least. I can relate to the character.
Yeah, but Capaldi is now working with the new Harry Potter stuff. Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Well, the new Harry Potter, the idea of rebooting Harry Potter is stupid anyway, because it's Harry Potter.
But it's just Rowling making it more racist and transphobic, and
gotcha.
It's bad.
I don't want to say that Kathleen has an idea of things that she likes about Ncuti Gatwa, but
he's a wonderful actor.
The amount of memes that I've seen, Ncuti, goddamn,
exactly.
Whenever he turns around, just like oh.
The vocal distortion of that was perfect.
But the thing is that I paid more attention to his episodes because he drew me in because of his personality.
Yeah.
If that man has a 10 million megawatt smile, I mean, when he smiles, I was like, it made me want to smile. I was like, it's very infectious. But people couldn't get past the fact that the Doctor was a black guy. And I'm like, really? Really? The Doctor could be anybody. Anywhere.
People were mad. People were mad that when David Tennant came back, his re-up of the Doctor. Well, yes. But David Tennant's re-up of the Doctor was bi. And they made a joke about that in the show. And they went, they made him bi? What? How dare you? It's like, first off, David Tennant has mentioned throughout the entirety of his run as the Doctor that the Doctor is bi. Booty Gatwa. Yeah. I love it.
I just really want Tim to read those out loud. I was going to read Booty Gatwa, but then Ben beat me to it.
I mean,
he's still not ginger. Well, that's coming next.
You never know.
I mean, I thought people were going to lose their mind when Jodie Foster took over. Not Jodie Foster. What was her name? Was
Whittaker.
it Jodie Foster?
Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, sorry.
They did.
Yeah, Jodie Foster.
They did.
Different actress. Right.
Yep.
And they did. And I thought that they lost their mind with that. And then this guy took over. One of the things I love though about whoever's stirring the pot over there at the BBC, they're like, "Oh, you didn't like that one? Hold up, hold my beer,
hold my Guinness."
Right? We're gonna have some fun with this.
I do also love that the major British character of Doctor Who has been mostly played by Scots and Welsh.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I think out of all the Doctors, I think only 3 or 4 have actually been British.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Hold my screwdriver.
Yep. Well, hang on. Which one?
So I like the redesign of the sonic screwdriver. Looks more like a remote control. It makes sense.
Right.
I like it. I also like the sonic sunglasses.
In the Barbie movie too, and he's adorable as Black Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He was? I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
I
the same thing with I can't remember his name. He played Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember his actual name, but I mean, it was the same thing with Shang-Chi. When the movie came out, everyone was like, no one's going to watch that. No one's going to do this.
It was
because he was, the main reason is because he wasn't stereotypically attractive, but he was also an Asian man.
Yeah.
And people were freaking out about it, just being like, no one's going to see it. It's like, no, it's
Okay.
Marvel. People will watch
I
it because it's Marvel.
I am confident enough in my sexuality to say that was a good looking dude. The guy who's Shang-Chi. He took off his shirt, and I think I had the same response.
The wake up push up scene.
Yeah, that Aquafina had when the shirt was taken off. She was like, damn. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, old boy was hiding those washboards, you know. But but that's part of the problem, though, is that we have these reactions, and some of the reactions that people are having are like a visceral reaction to these things. It's not just golly, I don't like it. It's I'm going to say all the things and do all the things. I mean, we've even had people comment on our sidebars that they're, you know, I'm a racist, I'm this, I'm all the things. Well, thanks for admitting it, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for the view time. You know, cool.
Right. Yeah, right up there with the acolytes. Yeah. Yeah, Darth Guns, Darth Hottie, whatever you want to call him.
That's one of the things that, especially when it comes to Star Wars, when people tell me that they side with the Empire or with the Sith or things like that, I'm like, do you realize how big of a red flag that is? The Sith and the dark side of the Empire are supposed to look cool because they're tempting you into darkness. The intent of all these things looking so amazing, Darth Vader walking into the room with the cloak billowing behind, I don't want to hear your nonsense, Tim, I see you. The whole point of that is to go, these are the bad guys trying to get you on their side. That's it.
Yeah, and
you're supposed to choose the good guys.
They said they had cookies.
But also they're
don't eat the cookies. Cool. They're oatmeal raisin. They lied to you.
You know, the Empire looking cool is also based in history because, you know, during that one thing that happened, you know, not even 100. Dang, how long ago was that? 90 years ago? 80? Yeah. You know, the bad guys in that even that country agrees they were the bad guys. They had professional fashion designers working on their military uniforms to make them look cool. So people wanted to look like them.
Oh, that's not sad at all.
Not going to name any names.
I mean, that's just the fashion of the Empire. The actual Empire was based on us.
Yeah.
During Vietnam.
Really funny when you get to Return of the Jedi and the Ewoks are serving dinner.
Anyway,
hey, we got an extra dress. Anybody need a dress? Oh, you do? Okay, we just happen to have one laying around. Anyway, but yeah, so I mean, so the things that we're talking about here, these are all kind of part of the issues that we're seeing in the fandom. So we're identifying a lot of the issues. So we've got a few minutes left. Let's talk about ways that, because the title of this is how to be a force for positivity in your fandom. So I mentioned earlier, you know, don't feed the trolls. So if you go into these comment sections, the easiest way to do it, just don't respond. A fire can't breathe without air.
Then what am I going to do with my lunch breaks?
Well, I didn't say you couldn't go read them, John. Just said,
to be fair, though,
just to pick on people.
To be fair, I have been going through Facebook comments and all these other things. It is so much more fun to troll the trolls.
I know, right?
I love on all the really dumb comments. I love putting the GIF from SpongeBob where it's the dude walking up to Patrick and just going, "Hey pal, you just rolling from Stupid Town?" On everything.
Oh.
Anyone who comes out with the most like garbage take, the most like the amount of people I found on like Star Wars posting, other things like that, just saying bigoted, just horrible things, make fun of them.
Oh yeah.
Don't go at them as like, don't like go at them and don't try and like nitpick at them. Just sit there and make one offhanded snarky comment and then disappear.
Mm-hmm.
They will explode in the comments and you'll just watch them burn down.
Look, I'm not going to say that I haven't done that, especially when I wrote an article for Couch Soup about the Acolyte. And I was told that I was a beta male simp with low testosterone for liking the show. I may have made a couple responses and back just to sit back with my soda and watch them all collectively explode in anger on their keyboards. It's like, this is fun. So I've done that.
If I may make a recommendation for that, whenever you see someone make a comment like that of like, oh, you're a beta male, this and that, whatever, just comment a picture of an Uno reverse card. Just watch them, just be like,
all right, we do have a couple recommendations from people in the audience. Kathleen does say, be welcoming and accepting, compliment people on their cosplays. Absolutely.
Yes.
100%.
I've seen that at Renaissance festivals, because Kathleen and I go to like lots of them, little ones, big ones. And somebody walks in with something that I obviously bought off Amazon or at, Spirit Halloween or whatever. And the people with the truly awesome garb do the same thing for the newbies that was done for Ben. It's like, hey, that's cool. I see what you're going for, and they'll start exchanging information. People learn how to sew. They support, crafts people, and they build the community that way. Nobody starts out making the white Dragonborn costume on day one. They show up in the...
I actually have a thing with that. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, especially with that, one of the things I love doing at conventions is when little kids and whatnot, if I'm in my cap suit, if I'm in my Spidey suit, they'll come up and I'll just be like, oh my god, insert character here. I didn't know you were a random person. I thought you were Iron Man, Master Chief, whatever.
Right.
The amount of times little kids have come up for pictures, whether I'm in my Spidey suit or cap suit, I will always respond with just immediate excitement, even if it's clearly like a Party City suit.
Yeah.
One of the stories I have is I was in my World War II cap suit. Little kid came up, super shy, tugged at my sleeve and was like, can I take a picture? And they were dressed in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit. The moment they asked that, I'm like, Mr. Parker, oh my god, you're an absolute hero. I love everything you do. Of course I'll take a picture with you. Show me your best hero pose. And they went from like super shy and curled in to just like Spidey poses and moving back and forth. The mom took like 30 pictures. It was just like, thank you. That's the best way to bring people into the fandom, is be excited and kind. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's perfect. Because I was going to mention that. So, every year we go to the Monroe Comic-Con in Monroe, Michigan. And so ourselves and the Three Geeks podcast host the cosplay competition there. And so it's always very cool. You see people who have put, like I said, 10 minutes in, and some people have put 10 years into this cosplay, and they're always refining it and working on it. And one of the things I loved from this year is we had a couple of little kids there who were dressed up, and they were obviously in like little Halloween costumes, but one of them, they were there. And then we had a guy who was in like a full blown, like screen quality Spider-Man outfit, and it was amazing. And the little kid was in his Halloween, from Walmart costume, and he got up there and he went to do his little, his little pose to shoot his webs. And he got off stage, and the older guy ran over to him, next to him, and they posed together. And the kid was just all smiles. He was happy because somebody acknowledged him, and really that's what we're all looking for, is a little bit of acknowledgement in life. Not for somebody to walk up and be like, nice cosplay, that's stupid. And so be welcoming. Respect people's cosplays. I try to take as many photos with people when I go to Comic-Cons. I try to take as many photos with people as I can with their cosplay. Ask people about their cosplay. If you think that people don't want to talk to you and they're in their cosplay, you're wrong. They will talk to you 100%.
The amount of
Yeah.
long-winded like origin stories I give for how I made my World War II cap shield.
Sure.
Every time people are like, wow, that's really good. I'm like, I get excited. But
Yeah,
here's
absolutely.
that photo of me
Oh,
and
I
that
love it.
Spider-Man.
That's
Look at that
fantastic.
kid. Just
You
and
can
to
see the
think
love
they
it.
smile.
came up and they were like just all curled in and shy about it. You can see the smile underneath the mask.
Yeah.
They're so
Oh,
happy.
for sure.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Also,
Jesse says
that's the shield. It is a military police riot shield that I spent 9 hours cutting into shape.
nice.
It's actually
Jesse,
bulletproof. Sorry, go on.
Duly
Jesse
noted.
from Crusher Compo says, always post positive comments or post positive moments in your fandom and support those who love or even dislike something and say that it's okay. She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Just because
Mhm.
I may not like something in Star Wars doesn't mean I expect you to like it. And if you dislike it, I don't expect you to like it. But what I do expect is for there be mutual respect in either direction. That's where this I think this whole thing boils down to is respect from one side to the other. Having respect for another person. What doesn't matter if they're man, woman, how they identify, what's going on in their life, whatever's happening. It doesn't matter. Just be respectful. They're a human being. Show them the kindness and courtesy that you would want with whatever you've got going on. Jesse also says, I am not an inner light fan of TNG when so many love it. That's okay. Just be yourself and laugh and enjoy each other. We love TNG, and that's all that matters. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why you might feel that way. That's
So-
not for everybody.
With
Right.
that first thing of just constantly posting positivity about the fandom and whatnot. Back when I was doing a lot of Spider-Man content on TikTok, one of the things that I kept finding were people posting like, "Oh, your suit's so great. I can't wear it though because I'm insert body type here. I'm too short, too tall, too big, too skinny, whatever." And I'm like, Stan the Man Lee said anyone can wear the mask.
Yep.
That's what counts. Are you in the suit? Then you're Spider-Man, woman, or person. Whatever
Right.
you decide, that's it. And
All right, that solves it.
I love seeing all the videos and everything, and every time I will post, like, someone's in there, doesn't matter if it's Amazon, doesn't matter if it's like RPC Studios where they spent $700 on it.
Right.
Every time I will comment, spectacular, amazing, sensational, all those Spider-Man adjectives.
I see what you did there.
Yep. Just every time there's a new Spidey that I find, immediately just being like, I love it.
Yeah.
That does solve it though. If you're anybody can be you can wear the mask. I'm going to Comic-Con in November as Spider-Gwen. Okay. Issue solved.
Hey,
I'll take
anyone
pictures.
can wear the mask.
I'll take
Yeah.
pictures.
Especially if we're talking about like Spider-Verse. There could
Right.
be a universe where you actually are Spider-Man.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing, guys. So I hope the biggest takeaway that everybody takes from this is that we want you to enjoy your fandom.
Yep.
We want you to enjoy your fandom and enjoy it with other people. We want you to, be able to post your pictures of you and your cosplay. Or if you're not a cosplayer, we want you to enjoy posting the things that you enjoy about your fandom. I don't have a problem with people disliking something. It's okay to be critical as a fan. It's okay to be critical. It's not okay to crap on something just because.
Right. So what really inspired this for me, I think I messaged you guys about this like over a week ago that I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted Kathleen to be here, but unfortunately, the whole procedure thing was we went to a concert. I got really cheap tickets. I paid like $25 to go to this concert for both of us, which anybody who's bought concert tickets, that's impossible. We got there. We ended up winning front row and a meet and greet. Yeah, with Hailstorm. Kathleen had never been to a rock concert before. She didn't know the majority of the songs. But she walked into the tent, and I told Lizzie Hale that, hey, this is my wife's first rock concert. It's taken me 10 years to get her to come to one. And the whole band freaked out. She got hugs, basically a welcome to the family type thing.
That's awesome.
And why can't we all be like that? Because it was 4 female fronted bands. So they jokingly called it Bitch Fest, from stage. And they talked about how as women they've had to work twice as hard to get half the credit. But these are all amazing people in their field. And why don't their fans get more credit either? Why is it that if you're a fan of The Acolyte, just because it has more women on screen, why is that disrespected so much?
And frankly, if you don't like Lizzie Hale, you have something wrong with you. Your ears may not work properly because Lizzie Hale has one of the most amazing voices in metal and rock.
Right. But the welcome she got there compared to the welcome she would get trying to buy her first Warhammer set.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That's a tall order there.
You don't know the lore of that particular division? Why are you picking them?
And a sparkly pink guitar.
You did not get the guitar, but I was drooling over it. Yes.
I have to put this on screen real quick because it passed. I had to pass it up because we were talking about something else. But Kathleen put this up there because I said I was going to be Spider-Gwen, and I was jokingly saying it. But Spider-Tim does whatever Spider-Tim does. Does he swing from he went? No, he can't. He's a Tim. She didn't continue on, but I still wanted to get that out.
Found I might look like I wasn't paying too much attention because I was flipping through all of my Comic-Con photos for the past decade. Yep. That's the guy.
That one. I love that picture.
That's him.
That's awesome.
That is the man who basically showed me that, again, cosplay and fandom and all these other things, they're for everybody. The fact that I showed up the first time in duct tape with jeans, a hoodie, and a paper-thin plastic shield, then I have this World War II suit that I made, which took like an additional 5 years, and I have a new World War II suit that I'm fairly happy with. It needs a little bit more.
Excellent.
It's currently in Florida. Oh God, It's in Florida.
Oh.
Well, if you look at it this way, it will be nicely washed by the time you see it next.
Oh.
I really hope it'll be completely untouched, because if that self-storage place gets destroyed, that's literally everything I've ever owned in my life gone. Anyway, I have a new suit that took literally 10 years to put together. I think I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll find it. Either way, the main point of the whole thing is just, if there is someone new to the fandom, even if they have takes you don't like, even if they prefer, like Warhammer wise, if they use a separate legion than you, don't immediately go after them. Well, unless it's in mid game, and then then you're welcome to attack.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed our conversation tonight, and I hope that you guys go away from this with the perspective of there's opportunity for everyone to be able to enjoy a fandom.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a certain age. You don't have to be a certain gender. You don't have to be a certain race. You don't have to be anything. You just have to be a human being that likes something.
You could just walk in off the street and think it's cool.
Yeah.
Fandom is for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where we've gone so awry in the modern fandoms, is that people are, they call it gatekeeping, which is what it is. We have so many gates that people are putting up to try and herd the fans in this direction, but only because that's what they see it as. And it's a very unfortunate thing that's going on in fandoms right now. And I'm hoping that guys like Star Wars Theory get
touch grass, everybody. Touch grass.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop talking about that because that was gonna make me go off in a whole different direction. But yeah. Did someone say Gates? She loves Gates McFadden, by the way. So yeah, we mentioned. I said Gates. She got excited. Yeah. Sorry, mine went somewhere else. I can't imagine where it could have gone, Jesse. Yes, we have seen X-Men '97. It's absolutely
wonderful. That got so much hate for just being in the '90s. Real quick tangent on that. The fact that people were mad at Gambit for having a crop top. Meanwhile, you can watch Top Gun, you can watch The Karate Kid, you can watch all the movies in the 80s and early 90s. There are grown men in booty shorts and crop tops, and you're going to tell me that that's not okay? Gambit wearing a crop top in the kitchen's not okay, but these other guys are? I think in Rocky he was wearing like booty shorts and a crop top at one point.
It was a thing in the 80s. It was a wild time.
Yeah.
We call those Stocktons, by the way.
Nah.
Because
anyway.
they were made famous by John Stockton of the Utah Jazz for wearing his suits. Gambit can wear whatever he wants. Yes. Brandon Diaz wants to know who's our favorite Toy Story character. He's been talking a lot about Toy Story tonight and how Toy Story caught some crap because it did with Toy Story 4.
Oh yeah.
Favorite character has always been depending on the moment between Buzz and Woody, depending on the moment. But really? I kind of lean towards Woody just because growing up with my son Parker, when he would watch those movies over and over again, Woody was always his favorite. So I kind of became, See, Kathleen says Mr. Potato Head.
Okay, she just likes Mr. Potato Head because she tells me to put my angry eyes back in my butt.
I mean, a lot. She's right though.
She is.
I would say my favorite is Woody, but the ones I relate to the most are either Rex or Pig. Yeah. Because the anxiety-ridden T-Rex or the snarky, sarcastic Piggy Bank, those are my only two moods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do like the Piggy Bank because he's voiced by John Ratzenberger, who does a lot of Pixar voices. And of course, Cheers.
He and I have identical methods with remote control. Yeah, just pass the go around the horn. and yes, she also calls me an uncultured swine.
But just say, just real quick before we head off tonight, just as a reminder, currently available out there for your listening pleasure, guys, is an interview we did with Kai Patterson. Kai is a really cool dude. He did the Obi-Wan Patterson cut. We had him on our live show some time back to talk about that. He has recently released the Patterson cut of the Ahsoka series. And there's some really cool changes to that. You just go to kaipattersonfilms.com and you can find that cut there. It's like a 2.5-3 gig download to be able to watch it. It's well worth it. Please go check out Kai's work. He's done some really, really cool things in there. Some of the biggest change that I love there. The person who made this suggestion actually made a comment on on the interview about how in the World Between Worlds where Anakin and Ahsoka duel, instead of being in the World Between Worlds where it was in the Ahsoka series, in the Patterson cut, they're on Malachor.
Ooh.
He made a really cool change there, and it's really, really cool. Yeah, the piggy bank is a ham. Absolutely.
Oh, ham. I don't know why I called him pig. Jeez.
Yeah, because he's a pig. He's a pig. But that's all.
You know why? I kept getting my brain glitched to Pumbaa saying it's Mr. Pig, and I don't know why I got that confused with Toy Story. I know they're both Disney, but they're vastly different things.
Right.
I've been awake since about 5 a.m. and I'm dying.
Kathleen says this has been fun. It didn't hurt my throat at all. All the fun of annoying you guys without the pain of talking. Yeah. So yeah, but go check that out. That interview is available right now. That's on our YouTube channel here. And then coming up is an interview with JP Karliak. JP is the voice of Morph in X-Men 97. We talk about the greatest joke about sex that never uses the word sex. And yeah, but he's also the voice of Green Goblin and Spidey and his amazing friends. He's the Joker in Suicide Squad. He is a lot of things in a lot of different places. JP Karliak is an amazing guy. And yeah, that comes out on Wednesday morning. And we encourage you guys to check that out. JP's really cool. And yeah, so. And again, if you haven't already, go check out Casino in Ischia. That movie is available. It's out now. And if you guys go click the link that says win free loot down below and sign up, you have a chance to win a free digital copy. So, thank you, Jesse. We try to bring as much positivity as we can. Sporkman. Hey, Alan.
Yes.
Sporkman.
The spork. You know what? To be fair, I relate so much to the spork of just going, I'm trash! And then trying to run off and jumping off a cliff.
Forky. That's
Forky.
Yeah. Forky.
Had to think.
Yep.
But
That's
any final thoughts before we jump off here, guys?
I think, I mean, the best things that can be said about fandom and like inviting people into the fandom is a combination of Star Trek and the Blue Lanterns of all will be well, live long and prosper.
There you go. All right.
That's it. No matter how much hate, just there you go.
No more Forky asks a question. No. Of all the things I want off of Disney Plus, that's it.
Oh no. I'm not even going to read that comment. I don't want to say it 3 times.
Yeah, we'll get in trouble. Right back at you, Jesse. So, and by the way, guys, if you guys love Trek and things that are Trek related, please go check out Crusher Convo. Jesse has some amazing stuff on her channel there. Really good interviews with people who are new Trek fans, old Trek fans, talking about things from a Gates McFadden and Beverly Crusher view. That's why it's called the Crusher Convo. But it's a really cool show, and I strongly encourage you guys to check that out.
I'm gonna have to binge all of Voyager again just before I get on the show, whenever that may happen.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be okay with that.
Is it next Monday?
All right, guys. And then come back next week Monday for our live show, and you will have an opportunity to watch John try and kill, I think, me in particular this time. He seems to be
most of us. Almost every time it's like hey.
Last time it was almost all of you.
The last 2 or 3 has almost been all of us.
Yeah. Our Star Wars RPG the last couple times has been, you were this close to a TPK, and
Every time.
Yeah, we've gone off air. We've looked at John. How close were we? Inches. So
hey, you guys have the hit points on your ship. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
So. Apparently not.
Apparently not as much as you knew.
All right, got hit with 1 shot and almost went to 0.
He was enjoying that a little too much. He enjoyed that a little too much.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the FSF podcast. And boy, that got kind of shaky all of a sudden. Is that just me, or is it?
You slapped your desk.
I did. Yeah. I slapped it again and it stopped. Okay. All right. Things are going good. Okay.
You won the slap bet.
Percussive maintenance. It's not working.
Used to work on my old GE TV. There you go. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gents and germs, be kind, respect one another, and may the force be with you as you live long and prosper.
Copyright 2024 FSF Podcast. Reference any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF Podcast. The views expressed by guests are their own and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com.